You look sharp.
Welcome to SportsLine, everybody, right here on News Channel 5 Plus, a very special edition of News Channel 5 Plus. As we come to you on this Wednesday evening here in the Music City. Of course, the Titans getting ready for their season opener coming up Sunday, 12 noon. At Nissan Stadium against the Arizona Cardinals. We'll get into that plenty as the week goes on over on News Channel 5 Plus. But today, once again, we're talking about professional wrestling. Remember a couple weeks ago we had Deonna Purrazzo on, the Impact Knockouts champion. Well, we have an absolute legend in our studios today, one of the greatest wrestlers, male or female, in the history of the sport. And it just so happens that she lives here in Middle Tennessee. She is the great, and I do mean great, Mickie James, the legend.
Oh,
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It is so great to have you here.
It's so great to be here and to live here now. And you're talking about this Titans game. I'm like, I've never been to one. Ooh.
Well, we need to get you to a game now that you live here in Middle Tennessee. How long have you lived here now?
We just moved over the holidays. I've been trying to get here a long time. We actually had a townhouse as we were selling the house back in Virginia. That's where I'm from.
Right. Richmond, right?
Just outside of Richmond. Yep. Richmond, VA, baby. But yeah, so we as we were kind of like looking around, and we just bought a house over the holidays, and it's beautiful. It's out on the outskirts, just north of White House. So yeah. Love it.
It's fun to live here.
It
because
is.
A lot of people, I'm sure, know you as a legendary professional wrestler, but also you're a country music singer.
I try. I really try.
Well, we'll get to the wrestling stuff in a minute, but let's talk about that. How's that going for you? What?
It's been great.
What have you been up to on the music scene?
I've been pushing a lot of singles, single after single. In fact, my last single I wrote and we pushed out was called The Goss Song. I don't know if I can say the other word online.
Gotcha.
So it's called The Goss Song with Chapel Heart Band.
Okay.
Who are CMT's next women of country.
Yes.
And in my opinion, the women to watch right now. They're just remarkable. They're incredible. So to sit down and write the song with them and with Sean and Brandon and and it was the theme song, the official theme song for Empower, which was the all-female pay-per-view that I just finished. I was the executive producer on.
You did an unbelievable job with that.
Thank you.
It was a rousing success. It was the buzz of the wrestling world.
It was. And it wasn't on me. That was kudos and hats off to all the ladies that were a part of that event, because they went above and beyond, and everybody went out there and smashed it that night out of the park. And I really, and I can take this moment now that we're on national television to say thank you to Medusa, to Jazz, and to Gail. That night could not have been a success without them. They really took charge, and they are the real leaders of the show, because I was running around, around like crazy.
Right.
And
you're Smokey the Bear that night. You're putting out fires.
I am all over the place, in heels, just really trying to do it. But it was such a remarkable show, and every match shined through, every star shined through, and it was a beautiful thing to fight so hard to get to that moment, I think. And like with all the language and all the conversations and everything that happened leading up to that night, and then for us to go out there and deliver the way that we did, or for them, I should say, to go out there and deliver the way that they did. We were trending #1 at one point, but #2 all night long, worldwide. And I just never expected. I got chill bumps right now just thinking about it. I've been on a wave, a roller coaster of emotions.
What gave you the idea to put something like that together? Because other feds have done all-female wrestling shows before, and to mixed results. But obviously, this is something you've wanted to do for a long time.
It was, and it was out of the last all-female show that I was a part of, Evolution, which in my opinion was a great success.
Yes.
And I was very blessed to be on that show and to be in the ring with my friends at that time, my compadres, Alicia Fox and Alexa Bliss, who I love them both dearly. And my whole last tenure was alongside those girls. But then to throw back to the rivals of my past, in Trish and in Lita, who I was both their last matches on television, you know? So to be able to throw back to that and open the night out, I thought it was just such a powerful statement. But I would have these conversations, especially in the last 2 years, I think, within the company, a year and a half. And what was next for Mickie James, and how do we do that? And what I would often say, and I had several conversations from people backstage, from writers or creative to office to, you know, executives and to people where I'm like, you know, why haven't we done Evolution again? Why has there not been a 2 yet?
Right.
Why?
Because I know a lot of people are saying the circumstances surrounding why that first pay-per-view was done were, you know, up to interpretation, right?
Right.
But this one was just legit, hey, let's do this. We did it before. Let's do it again. Let's plan it. Let's do it the right way. And you're right. The first show, Evolution, I watched it. It was good.
It was an incredible show.
It was really good.
It was an incredible show. It was, and I wish, because, especially because I think about the amount of tools that were available and the money and things that could have been as far as pushing it and developing stories, you know, we could have utilized a lot more stuff. But the show itself was still remarkable.
Yeah.
And the girls killed it.
Right.
Like, they really did. It was such a great show. And I never want to take away from that. However, especially like coming back from an injury and trying to figure out what was next. And I really, and I'd been asked to kind of work behind the scenes and do more of a producer role. And then I did commentating for a while. And I remember right before WrestleMania, before I went to this last WrestleMania, and I went down to NXT and did the commentating and did stuff. And it's so much fun. But I had, you know, some very important conversations with some very important people, and just to kind of give this one lash, because I'd said it so many times and kind of leaned on in different conversations to say, hey, let's do an all women's brand. Like, we do 205 Live, we do all these other things. The network we need content for the network.
Sure.
We have an immense amount of talent here, talent that isn't necessarily getting used on television right now. And this could be a really wonderful place for them to grow and to find their voice and to find their way to when they could become stars in this pocket until they're ready to come to television. And then just as they pull from NXT, just to go up to, you know, we could pull from here for the female talent.
Right.
And it was just met with a lot of resistance and a lot of not understanding, or maybe perhaps not understanding why I'm fighting so hard. But I wasn't just fighting for me, and I know I wasn't the only one who had, you know, posed this question or had went to the well. But when I was realizing, like, this is kind of the fight that I'm hanging my hat on, and I really did legitimately hang my hat on it. And it was unfortunate, and it was unfortunate that it didn't happen the way I wanted it to in that moment. But I could not have thought of a better answer after the fact, because I was able to do it in my vision with, you know, the women that I had available and that were so excited.
And the people at NWA trusted you. They said, all right, well,
and it wasn't just...
If Mickie James can't put together a show like this, who can? I mean, let's be honest.
And I was so grateful because, you know, Billy didn't have to do that with him. I mean, that's his brand and it's his company.
By the way, we're talking about Billy Corgan.
Who
Smashing
runs
Pumpkins, NWA, yes.
But also owns...
that Billy Corgan,
He owns the NWA brand now.
Yep.
But he did not have to do that. He did not have to give me the platform and say, you know what, and I know this is because we've been friends for so long and we've had conversations, even in the resurgence of NWA and while I was still on the road, of like, well, you know, just real conversations as friends. So, you know, he just said, hey, let's do it, and I want you to head it up, and he trusted me with that, and I chose people that I knew that I could trust in Jazz and Medusa and Gail, and we just kind of picked some hungry talent, some talent from different promotions. We were able to lean on our relationships. Obviously, having Gail involved immediately helped open that door for Impact.
Sure.
And also, but my relationship with Impact as well is everything that I've done there. And I still have a lot of friends there, and I still have a lot of history that I've made there. And you know, so it was cool, and it was cool to be able to show up at Slammiversary and kind of kick that door wide open right out of the gate. But then also to lean on AEW and get some of the stuff to build up for the NWA Women's Championship match, and then the tag team, and to be able to reinstate the tag team titles. It's just, there was so much that went into that, and it was definitely a group effort between myself and Billy was so gracious, and it was his idea, you know, let's bring back the titles, and it was the perfect platform to showcase that. And I just felt like every woman shined through that night. They really did. They just knocked it out of the park, and I'm so grateful.
It was an amazing show, and when you came back to Impact Wrestling to help promote it, It was amazing. It was an amazing moment.
Thank you.
I mean, it really was. The crowd was just, you know, they heard hardcore country again, and you came out with that big smile, and everybody just went. And we were talking before we went on, you never know when you come back.
Right.
You never know what the reaction's going to be. Like, will these people remember me? Do they care? Do they remember what I did when I was here? Because you had a great run at Impact Wrestling.
I really did. I had, you know, because I think, and we always say, I think we as performers, we always do that. Even when I was, like, whenever I've gone back for things, like going back for the match against Asuka, like at TakeOver, my whole was like, oh, are they going to remember who I am? Like, because it's a whole new crop of viewers. Fans, you know, there's still the fans that were watching then, but there's also a whole new crop that might not necessarily know who Mickie James is, or it was when they were watching, but they were too young to really understand, you know, at that time. But I had the same nerves coming back to Impact of going like, are people going to care? Or especially coming out of going, you know, the way I left and like the things that happened, that transpired, that if they were going to care about hardcore country Mickie James showing up at Slammiversary. And it's just always amazing, and it's really incredible when you have those moments. If like those, are they going to remember? And are they going to appreciate or reciprocate the love that I have for wrestling and for them, and like they do for me? And it's just really incredible when they do.
Well, we definitely appreciate having the legend Mickie James here in studio. We're going to talk more with her about what's going on in the wrestling business and her role at Impact, and certain young lady that we spoke to a couple of weeks ago that seems to have some issues with you.
She had a lot to say.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Mickie James is here, right here on SportsLine, News Channel 5 Plus. We're back after this.